What's up, Blockheads? Today we're going to be installing the rear LED indicators from TST Industries on a Gen 2 Honda Grom. Alright, so if you guys have been on the channel before, you know there are a couple other how-to videos working with TST Industries on my 2018 Honda Grom. Recently I installed the integrated taillight. Basically what that means is turn signals are integrated into the taillight, right? So whenever you get rid of your fender, do the Fender Eliminator, this big old piece right here, which hangs down like that, you've got a indicator and another indicator. So whenever you get rid of that fender, you lose the indicators that stick out on the right and left side, but they are in the brake light. However, while I do like that, in terms of safety and actually somebody being able to tell which direction you're turning while being behind you, it's not that great. Here's what I mean. All right, so bike is on. I'm gonna turn the left indicator on. So when you're right here, you can see that that's the left indicator. However, when you're way back here, you can't really tell which direction that's blinking. You can barely even see that it's blinking since it's basically light right beside light. It's not isolated. You can't really tell. It's the same with the right indicator. So put the right indicator on. Up close, you can tell it's the right indicator, but over here, you can't really tell. So we're gonna be solving that problem today with TST Industries and their low profile rear LED indicators. So these basically mount to your license plate bracket. So as per previous episodes, this episode is brought to you guys in part by TST Industries. I've worked with them a couple times. If y'all have a sport bike, have a Grom, Z125, anything like that, be sure to go check them out if you're looking for parts. They've got lots of parts, really quality stuff, and they're local here to Orlando, just north of Orlando in Lake Helen. Awesome company, great customer service. I've worked with them quite a bit, so much appreciated, guys. Y'all be sure to go check them out. I'll drop the link to the parts as well as to TST Industries in the description down below. So let's go ahead and open this up, see what we've got. So they give you a diagram, instructions for the resistors here. A couple stickers. These are ordered separately. We'll see if we have to use them or not. So basically what comes with this kit, you have the LED side markers and the hardware that comes with it. It's a plastic washer and nuts. You have some resistors, which you don't need these if you've already installed their relay, which I will link that in the description below as well. And then you've got some hardware to basically mount it all up to the license plate bracket. And these are adjustable, so you can adjust the angle of the LEDs. So the first thing that we need to do though, before we unpackage any of that, we are going to need to take the old fender and we need to get some of the wiring out of it so that we can reuse it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so step one, you're going to need to flip the previous fender over upside down and you're going to take out these 4 screws. So 1, 2, 3, 4, just a Phillips. All right, so those 4 are removed. After you've got those done, you're gonna have one more here on the top. After you've got all that out, this bottom part should come right off. Just like that. Basically exposing all the wiring. So this is the wire you're after. So I'm gonna go ahead and feed it through here. Pull this boot back. You're going to want to clip this little zip tie here. Now via TST's directions, they say you can do one of 2 things right here. You can take your wire cutters, right, and you can cut it pretty much right here so you have a good amount of wire. Or if you want to go ahead and continue to get the most amount of wire just in case, you can continue to take this apart. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you guys how to do it that way. That's the way TST does it. So, but if you guys feel comfortable with go ahead and cutting it right there, and using that amount of wire, then that's up to you guys. On this part here, we're going to undo a lot of the wiring, the connections here, basically pull back the coverings and pull the wires apart via the connections. All right, so those are all undone. Signals are basically disconnected from the main harness, so those go to your signals, those go to your other signals, and then this is the main harness right here. From here, this wire goes into the license plate light. So you're going to remove these 2 screws here. gives you access to the license plate light. You're gonna remove the bulb, just like that. Easy stuff. You're gonna take your pliers and you're gonna push in on that end of the harness right there. Doesn't take much. Press inwards, flip it back over, and pull. There you have it. There is your harness. That's what you need. I think every single bike that I've taken a fender off of, I've ended up throwing it away, so nobody ever wants these things, so there's that. Okay, so now that we have this sub harness removed, we're gonna take it and we're going to put it back onto the bike. You're gonna do that, start out by taking your seat off, and then you're gonna wanna route it all up through here. So undo the wiring. There's a little metal piece right in here that you can bend upwards. Push that, wander it around, push it up. There we go. Wiring here might look a little different if you guys are just taking it apart for the first time. So I have the integrated tail light, like I was saying earlier. This is the wire for the license plate light, which is tapped into power right here. And then what we're gonna do is basically unplug this right here. We'll reconnect these in a second, and we're gonna plug the harness into right here. And I'm just gonna tuck this all into here so it's nice and tidy. Plug it in. So now that we have the wiring pretty much sorted out, tidied up, and ready, we're gonna go ahead and start assembling the hardware to hold the lights. It's gonna be all this stuff that they sent you, right? We'll go ahead and unbag all this. There we go. So we're gonna start assembling these pieces here to mount to the license plate bracket, and we're going to set them up pretty much. You can mirror those like that. Shoulder washer, actual washer, a bolt, and a locking nut. We're gonna have it set up just like that. I'll show you guys how to put it all together right now. So you're going to start to tighten it, but you're going to leave some adjustability in there so you can move it around a bit, right? The next part here, you're going to be feeding your signal through these little bracket pieces. Now they say this is an important part, but you want to feed the wires and have the signal on the side of the nut, right? Not of the bolt side. So this side, because it's easier to grab with a wrench. All right, so run it through like that. Then we're going to take plastic washer, and then the nut, run the wiring through that, and slowly start to thread that down. Now you don't want to tighten it too much because it is plastic, so just be careful. So before tightening anything down, I am just going to leave everything kind of loose just so we have some adjustability. So rinse and repeat with the next one. There we go. So whether you guys do the part that I just did or not, entirely up to you. But whenever I mounted the pieces up, the plastic washer and bolt on the back sticking through were white. My bike is black. So I masked off the housings and spray painted the back of all of it black. So gotta wait for it to dry, and then I will continue. Skipped ahead a few steps. Last you guys saw, I painted the backs of these so that they wouldn't be white since the bike is black, right? So painted those so that they blend in a little more on both sides. Mounted them up with the stock hardware. Now you do have hardware that they send you that you can mount it up with there. I'm just using this temporarily while I wire everything up. So with whenever TST sends you stuff, basically what they do is if you have the integrated taillight like I do, that basically plugs into right here, right, this harness. Like all the wiring, all the stock wiring leads into that one taillight so that it indicates left, indicates right, and is also the brake. So that essentially eliminates this harness right here, or the need for this wiring harness that we pulled out. Can use this depending on how you want to splice in the new indicators. The way that I saw it on TST's website is you either had these, and then the video that they had on the little low profile LED signals, you had the stock taillight and those, or you didn't have those and you had the integrated taillight. So they didn't offer a thing for both. So what we're doing here is kind of unique in terms of having the integrated tail light and the low profile LED side markers in the rear. What we're gonna have to do is you can either use this and splice the line from the integrated tail light into this, or you can connect this up to here, basically how we've already installed it, and you can splice the low profile LED signals into that line, which I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Because either way, I'm going to have to splice either this line and cut this line. I'm going to have to basically have these lines and splice it into there. If I were to splice this line into the stock harness, I would have to take, wouldn't have to take this end piece off, but I would have to basically cut into the wiring and run it into this one, which is just extra wiring. So rather than do that, what I'm going to do, like I said, plug it into the stock harness like we've had previously, and then I'm going to take these wires for the right signal, these wires for the left signal, and splice it into this. I followed the wire diagram for the OEM wiring diagram, which I'll post right here so you guys can see. And what I've found is the left signal from the factory is orange. So that's the orange line right there. Now if you see, the orange line there leads to the green line, and then the green line goes into the green line on the integrated taillight. A lot of wiring stuff that we're about to go over. So OEM is orange, which goes to the green for the TST taillight. So green is the left side. So that's going to be this. So basically what we're going to do is black is going to be ground, and then yellow is going to be positive. So we're going to basically splice this into the green line on the integrated tail. So that's for the left side. For the right side, OEM is blue for the right side indicator. So light blue, actually. So you got light blue right there. Light blue basically leads to brown for the TST integrated piece. And so brown would be our right side. So you've got brown there. So for the right, we're going to splice into brown. Positive yellow into brown. Now I have gone ahead and plugged this up and tested the taillights, and they do work. I just got to figure out how I'm going to splice into this line. Pretty sure I'm going to have to cut some of this off, go from there. But it's definitely a unique installation process, so wish me luck. One thing real quick I did forget to add is that I want it to be removable. I don't want to hardwire these basically together. I do have a soldering iron and solder, but I don't want to solder them together. So what I did is I picked up some quick disconnects, just a couple options. I mean, I'll end up using them eventually, but these are T-taps. The other way to do it is to connect the assorted quick disconnects, in which case I would just cut the ends off of these, replace them with a male or female quick disconnect, and then splice it into the main line. I've gone straight electrician mode, busted out the soldering iron, heat gun, heat shrink. Basically, I'm extending the wires that come from this side so that I can route them around so that they're not all in the middle, keeping the seat from closing. So I've basically added a negative wire and a positive wire to it. I know they're way longer than what they need to be, but whenever I route them, I'm gonna route them and then cut them off. Yeah, that's the point that we're to. Basically soldered the lines together there, and then we've got 2 pieces of heat shrink over those, and then I'm gonna pull another piece right here over those, so it bunches them all together so it's nice and tidy, and then route them on the inside. All right, so that wiring is routed. As you guys can see, I have way more than what I need, but it's gonna basically route around here, and then I'm pretty much gonna splice the line right here. So since I am splicing in, I need to use these connectors, either that or tappets, which I don't have enough of, and they didn't have any in AutoZone. I do prefer using those, which are basically like these things right here that come with a kit from TST. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these ends off, and I'm gonna replace those with these ends right here, since I'm going to need to splice into this main line and plug these in. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And then once I decide on the length, I'll cut these to length and put these on those as well. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the ground and I'm gonna couple those together and ground those together. All right, so it's coming together little by little. These wires are tidied up, ran through here. I've gone ahead and put all the connector endings on them. So this red wire goes to the left light, so that is the left with that connector, and put heat shrink on it. The only one I forgot to put heat shrink on was the right live wire. And then I grouped, this is the grounds for both of them. So the black ground for the left and the ground for the right both go into that one. So whenever we splice into the ground, that'll be that one right there. So we are ready to basically go ahead and start splicing into this line, which is for the TST integrated tail. So we're going to splice into the ground and into the right signal and into the left signal. What I've done here is taken the harness or the main line to the TST integrated taillight, and I've cut some of the sleeve off, and we're going to go ahead and splice into the lines right here since that's about where it matches up. And then I'm going to tidy everything up, put it in some electric tape, and after that we should be good to go. We'll test it. So let's go ahead and get to splicing. We have everything spliced in. So this is basically the left side into the green TST line. We have the two grounds into the black TST line, and we have the right side indicator into the brown TST line. Everything goes around. Let's go ahead and turn the bike on and see if it works. Left indicator. Yes. All right, so it blinks here and here now. Right indicator. Hell yeah. So it blinks here, and the side marker in the front. So on the left side marker there, side marker here, and integrated side marker. So let's go ahead and clean this up real quick, and I'll get to standing back, showing you guys what it looks like from a back angle. We have the wires all tucked and tidied out of the way. This is all tucked back in. Metal piece to hold the wiring down. Should be good to put the seat back on. Crank it on again. We'll make sure the brake light still works. Yep, brake light still works. All right, so left signal, indicating there, indicating here, and in the tail light. The original problem that we had was here, whenever you didn't have this indicator, you could see where it was, but the further back you get, you couldn't really tell which direction the person was going, right? Indicating. Now with that, you've got an extra indicator basically letting the people behind you know which way you're actually going. So that little low profile LED indicator helps out a ton in combination with the integrated signal. Now you don't have to do this. This is just something that I prefer to do, you know, having it with the integrated signal. Love the way that the integrated brake light and signal looks. So we're good. Flashing on the right, you can tell which way the person's going. Covered that up, can't really tell. This way you can. Awesome, well, it's a little more involved, but I like it. Looks good, and it's a little safer. So at this point, just, I mean, obviously during the process you can mount your tag. I didn't mount my tag, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it back right there. But that's how you install the low profile LED indicators from TST Industries. Side note, I guess I should say that's how you install the low profile integrated LED indicators from TST Industries with the integrated taillight. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. It's a little bit more involved. You do have to know how to splice some wiring just because it's not simple plug and play, so there's some modification required. But pretty much walked you guys through it. If you do have any questions, be sure to post up in the comments below. I'm not a licensed mechanic, I just like working on bikes. So I might not know all the answers, but I'll try to the best of my knowledge. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit the like button. If you guys aren't subscribed already, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so it sends you notifications of future uploads and activity. Be part of the notification squad. Big thanks once again to TST Industries for working with me on this. You guys be sure to go check them out. Website down below, as well as links to all the products used, including these heat shrink things, the tools for the wiring, the soldering iron, all of it. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, you guys ride safe out there, stay vigilant, and I'll catch you all later. Deuces.